Hey, how's it going, guys? Today we're going to be unboxing the HGUC Sinanju Stein narrative version. I really didn't expect we were ever going to get a high-grade version of the Sinanju Stein, so I'm really super excited about this. It's the narrative version, so it's a little bit different from the original Sinanju Stein that we saw when it first came out in the Master Grade Ver.Ka line, but it's pretty cool. Who knows if they ever are going to make maybe just like a regular Sinanju Stein as like a P-Bandai kit or something. I think it's definitely possible as an HGUC kit, but we'll just have to see. Anyway, really cool box art here on the front with just the Sinanju Stein obviously there, and we can see some Gira Zulus there in the background. As always, guys, a huge thank you to SA Gundam Store for sponsoring the review. Do check the link to their site down in the description below. If you guys want to pick up this kit or anything else, you can use that coupon code there, ZakuAurelius10, and save 10% on that or on this, or whatever you want. This is 217 in the HGUC lineup. Here on the bottom of the box, we've just got a front and rear view, what the kit is going to look like when it's all painted. Some details there showing some of the sleeves markings, the new parts for this, or new parts for this design. And then the weapons and things. It has the bazooka, the beam rifle, and the shield, and the beam sabers, as well as the grenade launcher attachment for that as well. And then actions, you can attach either the grenade launcher or the bazooka onto the underside of the rifle. Actually, I've seen that that's actually just the exact same Sinanju's beam rifle, but they've got just extra parts that kind of clip over the top of that, so that's pretty interesting to make the new rifle there. And some different posing here, some different hand options, just open hands, same kind of hands that we've seen on like a lot of the similar kits out recently. Posing options here, you can move this kind of thruster unit there on the side of the leg. Looks like the beam sabers are stored inside the forearm there, so that's pretty cool. A couple of action poses there. Around on the other side, a cool composite image there, and then some information here in Japanese and English, but we'll take a look at the English there if you want to check that out. The list price is 2,600 yen, really not too bad. As you can see, this is a pretty large box, pretty deep HG box, so there are going to be a few parts in here from the original HG Sinanju, but for the most part, it's going to be all new, so that's cool. There are, of course, going to be some stickers in there as well. And the armor definitely looks not really bluish at all. In some of the pictures, it looks a little bit blue, but it doesn't really look all that blue in person. It looks pretty much just gray for the most part. That may be also just due to the fact that some of the darker parts are in a dark navy blue, so it just kind of maybe makes the rest of the armor look a little bit blue as well, but it's not. Here in the manual on the front, nice big reference image there of the painted kit. Some information here about just the statistics of it, weapons and armaments and all of that. On the back side, you got some more information there about the narrative version, and then over here about the flexible thrusters there for the backpack. A little bit here about the high beam rifle, as well as the bazooka and grenade launcher, the beam saber, and then the shield there. So that's all good and well. Down there at the bottom too, you also have the color guide in Japanese and English if you want to check that out. Let's find the parts list in here. So it looks like the D runner is going to be the runner from the original Sinanju, as there's a lot of X's on there. You'll have a handful of leftover parts on that, and the bazooka runner should be the same runner that was included with the HGUC Neo Zeong, considering that the Sinanju HG kit unfortunately did not come with a bazooka. You had to get the Neo Zeong to get that. I believe there was also an HD version of the Sinanju's bazooka sold in a manga or magazine add-in or something as well, possibly. But anyway, with the construction, you're just building the torso and the head, the arms, the legs, the waist, back around to the color page, and just on with the backpack there, and then the weapons, and finishing up with the weapons and just how to attach and mount everything. So it looks like for storing the beam sabers in the forearms, you're just gonna have to pull off that part. It doesn't actually open or anything, so that's kind of annoying. Would have been cool if that actually like had a hinge and actually opened up, but that's all good. And finally, just building a few parts there for the shield, it looks like, and that's it. Let's get a look at the runners. Alright, so first up, the foil stickers here. You can see we got the ones there for the eyes, and then just basically all the markings for the sleeves parts, and then the big logo there for the shield. This gray one here, I think that one goes like on the crotch part, and then these lining bits, not too sure exactly about those, but really not too bad. I mean, it was pretty much assumed that we were going to have the stickers for the sleeves markings and all that. PC132 for our polycaps here in gray, and SB13 for our clear yellow beam saber effect parts. Really a shame that they didn't give us the beam saber effect parts from the Sinanju, which would have that more jagged, interesting look to them. And then runner A, first off here, has some weapons parts, some parts there for the skirting armor, some parts for the torso, it looks like the vents, and the parts for the head are on here as well. And what I'm going to be looking for going through these runners is where I think that there might be gates where we might have additional parts added for eventually if we get just a regular original version. I guess they might call it like a UC version or something. And already right off the bat, you can see how this runner is segmented so that these parts that are specific to the narrative version could be omitted, and these would just be the same parts here that would be included for either version. And then runner B1 here is just all the rest of our light gray armor parts here. And again, you can see how the parts here for the fuel tanks are segmented as a separate part of the runner, because the fuel tanks for this version are a little bit different from the fuel tanks of the regular Sinanju Stein. So again, that's segmented. This part, I'm not really sure why it's hanging off over to the edge there. That part is part of the thrusters that go on the side of the leg. I'm not sure if that's any different from the regular Sinanju. I haven't noticed that, but it could be. And anyway, we have two of this B1 runner. Runner C here is the dark navy color parts for around the chest, the torso, I guess I should say, and the backpack and the feet. And again, you can see the part here that's specific for this kit segmented down here, so that could be omitted. And another thing I should point out too, all the runners are simply marked HG 144 scale Sinanju Stein. None of them say anything about narrative version or anything like that. So runner D, however, being our only exception to that, as this is the runner from the original Sinanju. We're going to be using some of the parts on there, I think like the hands and the rifle parts and maybe a few other bits, but we will have a lot of these parts left over as well, including the heat axes, beam axes I mean, and so you'll have those but no effect parts for them, unfortunately. But hey, if you've got extra beam effect parts from a different Sinanju HD kit or something, you can use those. Number E1 here would be a bunch of our new parts for different joint parts and detail parts and things like that. It looks really super nicely detailed, and like with the previous runner, this is in a kind of light brown color. It's pretty nice. I know it's not very popular though. I know some people don't really like this color for the inner frame, but personally I do. I like it. It's a nice mix up from just the standard gray all the time. And then we do also have runner E2 as well for a copy of this half of the runner. Runner F, as I said before, is actually from the Neo Zeong, but this is just your parts for making the bazooka, just in a gray color here. Runner G1 here in black would just be all of our sleeves markings parts, so the parts for the chest and the forearms. And then G2 is just separated here because it's in a different color. G2 is in a different color gray. It's just kind of like a medium gray. It's still not super dark, but this would be just for a few more accent parts here and there. And that's it. Aha, but wait a minute. These parts here on the bottom of the G2 runner looked kind of familiar, and that's because it's the same part that's like weirdly hanging off to the side from the B1 runner. It's the same part. So these G1, these parts from the G2 runner, those two, you're actually not going to use. Those are crossed off in the manual because they're in the wrong color. This is the correct color that they should be, but that seems strange. I would think that they would just be fine. So I guess that if or when we ever get the just regular HD Sinanju kit, we'll just have this, and you won't have this because they will be in the same color as the rest of these parts on here. But anyway guys, it looks pretty fantastic. I can't wait to get this kit built up. Really love the design of the Sinanju Stein. Still need to build my master grade version of that someday. I do have the master grade, but I guess maybe we'll just wait and build the new master grade when that comes out and have a look at that. So that is it for this guy. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have any other further questions or comments, of course, leave those down below. And do check out the link to USA Gundam Store there in the description as well, guys. I'll see you in the review. Bye-bye. Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to USA Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.